On this edition of the Dimp Digital Podcast, Apps is joined by Logan, Hall and Pipes as they remember Satoru Iwata. I think that we've lost one of our great figures and one of the good guys in gaming. They discuss the Kickstarter scene.
It ain't my job to be paying for a game to be developed. I ain't interested in that, and I don't want to be.
But you're not paying for it to be developed. You're paying for the game. If you donate the $90, you get a copy of the game.
And they give their thoughts on Guild Wars 2.
What I like about it is I don't have to go around doing exactly as what they want me to do. I don't have to go around killing loads of things. I can go around collecting things. I can go around cleaning. I can go around crafting. I can go around just doing all these types of things that can consistently keep leveling up my character. So there's always a goal and there's always something to do.
That and much, much more on the Dimp Digital Podcast. Hello, welcome to the Dimp Digital Podcast. We're on episode number 36. You've got myself, Apps, Logan, Hall, and Mr. Piper. Gents, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good. Mr. Hall?
Yep.
Mr. Piper?
Yeah. Hello.
So normally it's only three of us, but we've decided to draft Mr. Piper in for one particular subject and a few other things. Don't think this is going to be a permanent thing. I've got a feeling this is going to be a bit of a clusterfuck, if I'm honest. Too many people scrabbling and arguing and bickering, but we'll see how it goes.
Real squabble fest.
Yeah, particularly between Logan and Piper, I imagine there's going to be some sort of fight breaking out. It's one of the only times I wish we'd done it in person, because I want to see this altercation go down physically and see who comes out on top. But
that's obvious.
Well, I know Logan has got the reach, so easy. But let's get started. I mean, we're going to have to start on a bit of a sombre note. Satoru Iwata unfortunately passed away this past week at the age of 55. Mr. Iwata was Nintendo's president and CEO, and he'd held that post since 2002. Now, tragic news, far too young really to be lost from this world. Mr. Hall, you're probably the closest to Nintendo and an unashamed fan of theirs. What did Mr. Iwata mean to you?
Well, I mean, he was obviously bigger within Nintendo. I think kind of people always hear the term of CEO and you're not really too sure how much involvement they have within a company. I mean, his was massive. He was the person behind the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo Wii, which were Nintendo's probably two most successful consoles ever. But most of all, like, his philosophy was, I mean, one of the first things he said when he took over as president was, I'm not interested in doing sequels. I just want games to be fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, like when things didn't go right for him as well, first to put his hands up and say, you know what, I'm in charge, it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
He took two 50% pay cuts when things weren't going.
Yeah.
And he was always a very firm believer of, you know, we're doing it for the fans, for the gamers. We're not looking to do it for ourselves. We'll do what's fun, and you know, if we make money in the process, and that's brilliant. So yeah, it's a shame, real shame for the gaming industry. And obviously he wasn't very old, unfortunately. But
no.
You know, hopefully Nintendo will be able to carry on and pump out some good titles, and they don't sort of take too much of a step backwards, because a big thing for him was sort of innovation. He said, I don't want to compete with the 360 and the PS3 when he took over. I want to go off in a different direction. So I just hope that Nintendo still keep that attitude and kind of explore into different bits and pieces.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to mention that Nintendo hopefully will try and carry on with some of the seeds that he's planted. He definitely had a different philosophy than most CEOs or presidents of a big firm like Nintendo. Like you said, he did take a pay cut twice when the company was performing badly. There was calls for them to make layoffs in staff to help balance their books. He refused to do that. Said it wasn't right to try and save money in the short term and lose some of their talented members of staff, as well as put them out of a job. And it's even when he was a high-ranking manager within the Nintendo ranks, he was actually debugging Super Smash Bros. Melee on his own for the last 2 weeks, because he cared that much about getting that title. He wanted to be perfect, and there's no reason for him to do that. He was well past that stage in his career, but he wanted that game to be the best it could be, and he sat there and did it himself. And you could tell he really cared about the games and went the extra mile. I just wanted to leave you all with a quote of his. It's probably one of his most famous quotes, and I'm sure you've all read it this week, but he said, on my business card, I'm a corporate president. In my mind, I'm a game developer. but in my heart, I am a gamer. And over 4,000 people attended his funeral this past week, and he was obviously a very poignant figure in the gaming industry. And I think that we've lost one of our great figures and one of the good guys in gaming, which is a bit of a shame. But may he rest in peace, and hopefully Nintendo can carry on some of his ideas in his honour. Shenmue 3 has broken the video game's Kickstarter record with over $6.3 million raised so far. So that's the highest amount that a video game has got. I think Bloodstained held the previous
Bloodstained on it, yeah, 5.5 or something.
That's surprising, to be honest.
That is.
I didn't expect that, but I guess it's a very popular game. Now, 6.3 million has got them just over halfway towards their stretch goals. Now, I was having a look at
what a load of bollocks.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to mention, because here's the stretch goals. Let me list them off. So if the game had got to 11 million, here is what the game would have included. So the battle system would have been expanded, which included advanced free battle, ragdoll reactions, AI battling, high ground battle system. Chobu area would have been expanded to include 4 mini games, 4 betting games, kung fu mastery, a part-time job, game stalls. Balliu area expanded also, 4 mini games, betting games, kung fu master and magic maze. Now this game's got to 6.5 million, just under. It's going to miss most of those features. This is my problem with Kickstarter. It just feels like it's a shot
moving the goalpost.
Yeah, it's like it's a shot winner saying, "Oh look, this is what you could have had, but because you didn't raise enough, you can't have it."
Yeah, exactly. Well done. You raised the 6 million, but it was half of what we actually want. So fuck you. You can't have any of this.
You can't have any of this. Yeah, and it just feels like now
it's dirty.
The game's going to be incomplete to a certain extent, because obviously Yu Suzuki, his vision was to have all of this in. If he had the funding and the backing, he would include all of this, and it'd be the complete game that he wanted. But we're not going to get that. And I know people are desperate, especially for Shenmue 3, for example. But in a way, I think I'd rather not have it if it can't live up to its full potential. And there's always going to be there's always going to be that mind that if you play, you think, oh, what if they'd raised 11 million, they'd included this advanced battle system or these ragdoll reactions, how much better would the game be? And Mr. Piper, you're a big fan of early access, and although Kickstarter is very different to that, obviously you don't get to necessarily play the game beforehand in an alpha or a beta stage, but what's your thoughts on Kickstarter as opposed to early access? I said you're a fan of early access, so is Kickstarter down the same sort of route? You're a fan of that?
Yeah, I think it's the way we're sort of moving forward. You're finding a lot more of the bigger developers going down that route now as well. It's a way to just sort of create hype around the game. And I know they said that all these sort of features won't be coming, but they will be coming. They'll just come along in DLCs probably later on when they've released the first game, and they then build up the money from that.
That'll be in Shenmue 4 once they get all your money again.
But then that's also the profits from Shenmue 3 has done to make Shenmue 4. You wouldn't have had Shenmue 3 without Kickstarter. So you can moan all you want, but you wouldn't have had the game at all, and it wouldn't have been there if it hadn't been for Kickstarter.
6.3 million though is not going to make the game.
No, it isn't. But they obviously
40, 50, 60 million maybe.
There'll be corporate decisions made. That this is a big company that's doing it, so it'll be corporate decisions made by that figure and why they needed to get there. And it may be that they had certain backers as well that said, "Look, if you can raise this kind of money, you're showing this amount of potential." So, and maybe that's
the thing that I was surprised by is how fewer people raised that 6.3 million. It's been raised by about 70,000 backers altogether.
Right,
just under 70,000.
They must have
means
put
the
in an awful
average
lot.
contribution's got to be like $90 each on average.
But that's the price of a
when you
game,
think-
isn't it? Though, when you think about it, for like an American, $90 is the price of a game.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only 70,000 people that are willing to contribute towards it, and that's $90 on average. You can guarantee that some bellends put in like 10 grand. Like $90, like 70,000 people is not that many. I mean, I don't know about any of the rest of you, but I couldn't give a shit about Shenmue 3. Like, I know obviously there was mad hype out in certain parts of the world for Shenmue 1 and 2, and or whatever, and people want Shenmue 3, but I just feel like it doesn't. Like I say, it feels like they've got like a really hardcore base that are desperate for the game to get made.
Yeah.
And everyone else is kind of in the. Yeah, well, if it comes out, I might play it.
Yeah.
Right, can I just put my 2 pence in here because it's
Stop playing Forza now.
Well, it stopped ages ago. I've been patiently listening to Piper's bollocks, and I thought, right,
Yeah, come on, here we go.
Bring it.
right. It ain't my job to be paying for a game to be developed. I ain't interested in that, and I don't want to
But
be
you're not
part
paying
of
for it to be developed. You're paying for the game. If you donate the $90, you get a copy of the game.
But it ain't
Simple
even
as
a
that.
full copy, is it?
It will be a full copy.
Well, Apps has just said they're going to be missing loads of features because they're going to miss their targets.
Yeah, but
You're
there's
paying for an uncompleted game up front.
There's loads of games that come with loads of features missing these days.
Well,
Like,
we'll move on to that, yeah.
We'll move on to that. But what if I know that it's not going to have everything I want in it to start off with? Why am I... Someone needs to develop the game for me and go, right, here's my product. There you go.
Well, so
And
you've
then
got
I-
to say
then I
they've
make
got
a
a picture
decision.
of you in front of them saying,
Not
right,
me,
this is the
but the
guy we need to
consumer.
develop the game for.
The consumer. So I don't want people selling me half-baked goods. And I don't want to be buying promises.
But you're not
I'd be
buying
more
promises. You know what you're signing up to when you donate. You know if they don't make
That's why I'm not
target.
donating.
Yeah, and that's why they've not made it. So why have you got a right to complain? It's like saying,
There's no game
it's
that
like
I'd
saying,
want
it's
to pay
like
for up
saying
front.
I'm not voting in the election, but I'm going to complain about the government. You haven't voted. You haven't put your money where your mouth is, so you haven't got a right to complain, have you?
I have got a right to
No,
complain.
you haven't.
Why not?
It's as simple as that.
Why not?
The people that have
To be-
donated have got a right to
Oh
complain.
my
You
god, this
haven't.
is fucking hideous, isn't it, already?
It's already gone hideously wrong, this, because you're just sitting there on your stand just saying I'm correct, no one else can even challenge me.
I can understand where both of you are coming from. Yes, okay, it's stupid.
Both
that they're
pricks.
taking they're taking money off of people, and you shouldn't have to. In effect, you're becoming an investor in the game. Bearing in mind, this game's not even started yet. It's not like they're doing a Kickstarter to like finish off production or whatever. This game is going to be another 3 to 4 years before it even comes out, which is an awful early time to be buying a game, as James is saying. That said, they're not forcing you to invest in it. Those that want to invest in it have invested in it. But I'd like to say, I mean, we can all sit around and complain about it, but the simple solution is don't give them any money. Don't buy the game when it's
the
released.
thing that really annoys me about these Kickstarters is I don't mind them raising small amounts to get it going or just garnering a bit of interest or anything like that. But if once they've got a certain level of funds or once they've got a certain level of interest, they should take that to other backers. They shouldn't then expect the public to keep funding it. They should get that and then go, right, okay, we've got that. And as Piper said earlier, this isn't a small indie developer or whatever, it's a big corporation. So why should we be paying for a big corporation to develop their game for them? The public are going to get none of the profits from the game or anything. You're just putting your hard-earned money in it and you might not even get the finished product that you're hoping for.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a case in the past where a company did a Kickstarter. I mean, admittedly, it was it was actually a YouTube channel, but they created a
We should
game.
do that.
And they did a Kickstarter.
The ultimate RPG.
To develop the game, and then they gave up developing the game because it wasn't working out.
That story.
Yeah.
And they just went, nope, not doing it anymore. And they just went, sorry everyone, you've just invested in nothing.
Yeah.
So there's nothing. I mean, obviously it's a much bigger game, bigger company, a lot more hype surrounding it. So that's probably not going to happen. But theoretically it could. You're putting your money into effectively nothing at this stage because it is, as I mentioned, it's nothing started. All we've got is a fucking name.
Yeah, it is the ultimate pre-order from hell, which...
As they go, Shenmue 3, the new driving simulation game. And everyone goes, what?
I just like to know. I like to know what I'm getting for my money up front. I don't like the idea of being sold a promise or sold a theory or anything. I like to know what I'm buying before I put my money down on the table, and I like to know that I'm actually going to get.
So what's your driver?
Favourite game ever?
Yeah.
My favourite game ever.
Yeah. What would you consider to be the pinnacle of
Football Manager. It's fucking Football Manager.
I've
I've bought it for 10 years in a row, so I know exactly what I'm getting.
My favourite game that I ever bought
Apps.
for.
Yeah. Where am I?
Call of Duty 4.
Costing.
Yeah.
All
Did you know what you was getting?
Do something that's not a Call of Duty.
My favourite game ever that's not Call of Duty.
Not a
Why only play
franchise.
Call of Duty.
Probably
Struggling.
Gears of War then.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say they said we're going to do Gears of War. Like, Gears of War disappears off the radar for 10 years, and then they go, we're going to do a new Gears of War, and it's going to be fucking amazing, but we need a little bit of money to help out. Just go,
fuck off. You're Microsoft. Go suck yourself. You got loads.
Now, Microsoft binned off the rights for it, so it's just a
Right, well
studio
then
on their
they're
own.
not doing it. Then I'm not interested because it's not going to be the same game, is it? It's not going to be as good. It's not even the same people that are doing it. So fuck.
No, same people do it.
Everyone
but
that worked at Microsoft, have left Microsoft and they've gone off and they've
started their own
to do it
company.
as an indie development.
No, you're not having my money. No way.
What football manager did that?
No, literally, I don't care. And this is one of the points I was going to make, is that there is no game in the world that they could either come up with or bring out again that would make me want to put... I'll go, all right, yeah, it sounds like a good game. When you finish, come to me with it and I'll see what it's like and I might buy it.
How are you going to see what it's like?
If they ever develop it, if they don't...
Yeah, but how do you know what you're getting when you buy... This is what I'm saying. How do you know what you're getting when you buy a game?
Because you don't see the videos, you get an idea of the features. They go, right, this is what we get, this is what's in it. Here's the pre-release stuff. This is you get an idea.
Bollocks half the time.
Yeah, but then with this Shenmue 3, you go, right, we've got 5.5 million. Here's all the stuff you're not going to get because we didn't reach it.
But there's also a list of...
I've already put £100 into this.
There's a list of stretch goals that they've got, which I didn't mention. So
when do they put a timeline on this? When do they go, right, this needs to be done by then? They should go, right, okay, we need 12 million. Once we've got that, we'll make the game. They shouldn't go, right, well, if we only raise half that, then you get half the features.
Well, no, their target was, I think it was 5 or just over 5 million. That was the target they needed to get the game made. The rest, the list I read off was stretch goals. So if it reaches this, we'll add this feature. So the base game will be there and hopefully be in a good bit of nick. But these extra goals are seen as sort of additional features, if you will. Something that are nice to have.
I don't like the bare bones. I don't agree with this whole bare bones approach. It should be exactly what they want to produce and release and be happy with. It shouldn't be half baked. Then
no, I agree. This is why I brought it up, because just listing out the stretch goals, you kind of think, well, I'd like to have ragdoll physics in this. That'd be well cool. It's my favourite feature in a game, ragdoll physics.
You'll be going through that,
ain't gonna have it.
Playing it, going, oh, if only I had ragdoll features there. It'll never hit to the heights because you know what it could have had.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? It's publicising what is now going to be probably missing, and then when you play it, you think
it'll get there. People who fucking love Shenmue will fucking spunk their pants at the idea of new features.
If so many, I don't understand it, because if so many people love it, then why do they need the public to back it? Why have they not got funding for it, or why have they not fund it themselves? I don't understand.
People do love it, but I think it's quite a small core audience, if that makes sense. Sort of more like a cult hit. They were extremely expensive to make the first time round.
Yeah.
If you go back in time,
not lost leaders, but didn't they? They didn't make any or little money off it or something stupid. And they went, right, this is idiotic. We've been in this.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem financially viable to do another free, because it cost them a fortune, and financially it wasn't producing the best. That probably because they had it on the Dreamcast, which didn't help. The first one, the second one was on Xbox as well, but there you go. That'll do for Kickstarter stretch campaigns. There's all sorts of different opinions in there. I'm of the opinion of that I don't want to know what I'm going to be missing, so don't advertise it.
Yeah, just tell me it's a game, job done.
Yeah, just say this is the target, 5 million, we'll make the game. Don't go, oh, if you give us another 4 million, we'll get this. Because now I want the 4 million
say
features.
There are stretch targets. It's at this amount, and when you get to this amount, we'll tell you what you're going to get. So you can go, oh, we've just unlocked ragdoll physics. That's brilliant. I didn't even think about that being in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I see why they do the stretch goals, because it's to help make people invest more. Going, oh, I want that feature, I want that. So I can see why they would do it, but for me personally,
I'd rather not hear.
I'd rather not know. I'll just as Piper has always said to me, if you don't know, it can't hurt you. That is the attitude you should always take in life. Right, publisher Deep Silver. They were publishing Dead Island 2. They had Jaeger Development to develop the game for them. Dead Island 2. Jaeger have been dropped from this particular project due to creative differences. Now, I'm not going to say I'm too disappointed with this. I didn't like Dead Island, but I will admit I'd forgotten that Jaeger made Spec Ops The Line, which actually had a really well-crafted story and some solid gameplay to go along with it. So, thinking about it now, them doing a Dead Island or a zombie game would have been quite interesting, but Jaeger actually in my good books. They're going to continue working on another title called Dreadnought, and publisher Deep Silver said, look, we're going to look at other options. Now, this surely spells the end of this game, wouldn't you think, Mr. Piper? If the publishers drop the development, it's been going on for a good year and a half. That's got to be a re-scrap and a start again jobby.
You just don't know.
Kickstarter for Dead Island 2 coming.
Yeah. We need 700 million.
You just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It's just sometimes it's just like all these stories start piling out, and you think, what's happening? Is it dead? Is it going to carry on? They're getting new guys in. You just don't know. It's like the whole thing. It's like the whole saga with
Konami.
Yeah, Konami. That's what.
Fucking pricks, mate.
So you just
they've scrubbed him off the title. They've taken him off the cover. I was going to put that in here, but I thought there's no point because I'm just going to moan. But they've taken Kojima Productions off the box art now. Pathetic Konami. Anyway, move on.
But yeah, you just don't know, do you? Until
I think. Sorry, going back. I think Kojima's slept with one of their wives. I think that's what Kojima's done. He slept with all the Konami top wigs' wives and gone, have that, you bastards. And they've gone, right, get out.
Off the box.
Yeah, off the box. And he's like, fucking hell. But yeah,
that box.
You don't know what's going on. Piper, do you expect this game to be made in any shape or form?
I reckon it probably will, just because it's got the title behind it, and you tend to find when you've got a name behind it that they know they can sell, that they will still make it, whether it's good or bad. It will come out eventually, whether it's a year down the line or 3 years down the line.
Yeah, it'd probably be crap though, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Let's be honest about that. That's a bit of a shame. It's not often that you hear. I don't know. It's the first time I've heard something like an actual developer being dropped for a long time. So that's why I picked it out as being quite interesting. So 2 years down the line, Dead Island comes out. Mr. Logan, you're waiting in the queue for Asda to get a game. You see Dead Island 2, you think, oh, I remember that one I'm talking about on the podcast. I assume you're going to go buy it.
No.
Why not?
Dead Island 2?
Yeah, it's got zombies. You love zombies.
No.
You love The Walking Dead.
No. I don't need Scrabblers in my life. I'm trying to.
These ones are slow. They're not Scrabblers. They're really slow.
No, don't like faces. Not interested.
But you watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's the only time. I don't like watching films. I don't like playing it. I don't like being too involved.
You were scared watching my Vanishing of Ethan Carter Let's Play because of that ghost mind.
Yeah, he's a Scrabbler. See, he comes at you. I didn't like him.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I just don't like it. There's nothing wrong with that. I ain't interested. Other tastes.
Pathetic.
Move on.
Fallout Shelter, 5.1 million made in 2 weeks. Now
No one expected that.
Yeah, now, Hall, you can see why Nintendo are sniffing around the mobile market. There's that sort of... Bearing in mind, Fallout Shelter, big game within gaming industry. A lot of people know it. Probably outside of the community, people are probably thinking, what the hell, I don't really know what this is. That's still made 5.1 million in 2 weeks. So if a Mario game comes out, every fucker knows Mario.
Yeah. No,
you can see why there's a reason for them going down the mobile route.
I think it's a clever financial move for Nintendo. I mean, like you say, this game was created to drum up interest for Fallout 4. It was not intended to do this well. It wasn't meant to make them a shitload of money. And it's all through microtransactions. Yeah. Where people have just gone, I need more. I need more things. I need more in my life. But it shows that people are willing to pay it. That's the thing. Like,
who are these morons?
Us four all might be tight-fisted, but clearly people are quite happy to pay microtransactions in games to get ahead. Yeah. And I mean, 5.1 million is massive for a mobile game, considering it's not been out that long either. No. But everyone seems to have it, or have at least had a go at it. You know, I mean, if it's made that much money, I dread to think how many times it's been downloaded off the App Store.
Yeah, well, I think,
it's in the top 5, isn't it?
Yeah, that is craziness. And you've got to remember also, these first 2 weeks, 5.1 million, it's not even out on Android yet.
Yeah.
So that's just iPhone users
mental
that have raised that amount of money. I think it's coming in August to the one true mobile operating system. So I'll have to get my hands on it. Piper, you played this.
Yeah.
Was there a need for microtransactions? You know how that often when you download a free-to-play mobile game, you have energy and it runs out after 2 goes, and you think, "Fucking hell, I've got to buy some more." Does this one can you play it without that, or do you have to invest into it to get the most out of it? Would you say?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that you go and you can probably check in about 20 times a day, and you can do stuff. So it's got quite a lot of gameplay over the course of a day, and each time you check in, maybe you spend about 5-10 minutes in there. But you can just check in once a day, or you can check in once every other day, and you can keep the game playing along. And it's just quite a nice little play in the background type of game, and nothing too demanding. I can't see how people are just buying those packs when you just get given them for free loads of times. Right. It's like Hearthstone. It's you pay, you can get the packs if you want to, But if you don't, if you want to get ahead really quick, you can buy a load of packs, and that's basically what's happened.
Yeah, so it's not actually needed to do this. That's interesting, because often you'll see these games that make the most of because the game's made.
Forces you.
Yeah, it sort of forces your hand, doesn't it? 5.1 million, Logan, does that shock you in 2 weeks for a mobile game?
Yeah, I mean, I love my mobile games.
Do you? What are your favourites? I like Hill Climb Racing.
Yep, I've played that, binned it.
What?
Yeah, well, it ran its course, but I've got a couple that I keep on the go, sort of, and do every morning. My Clash of Clans, Boom Beach sort of games, I like them. So I like a good game that I can come back to, collect my resources, upgrade. It's my sort of game. I played a little bit of Fallout Share. I think I got up to about 25 people in my vault, and then I've just sort of binned it off. Really, it seemed to be a bit repetitive. It doesn't feel very addictive to me. I've had no interest in buying anything. I think, as Piper said, you get given lunch boxes, especially to start off with, quite frequently. So I was like, well, there's nothing in there that I thought I absolutely need that. You just get like guns and uniforms that you don't really need. So I don't understand where that's coming from, and I don't understand where people really feel the need to spend the money on it at the moment. I don't understand it. So yeah, it does shock me for a free game that people have ploughed all this sort of cash into it in the space of 2 weeks. It seems very excessive to me, and I don't really... Normally I can understand microtransactions. Normally I go, well, I can understand why people have got that sort of addiction to it. I mean, especially considering my Ultimate Team expenses, I can completely get why people would buy packs. But
off the top of your head, how much do you think you've spent on that over the years?
Oh, not a lot, really. I reckon probably the first time I played Ultimate Team, probably about 25 quid.
Yep.
And then the second time I played it, probably about 20 quid, and then I just binned it off altogether. So about 45 quid on Ultimate Team.
So nearly enough for a new game.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But I just don't understand it with Fallout Shelter, and to be honest, I don't really understand it on mobile gaming at all. There's nothing there that's good enough for me to go, right, I need to be ploughing money in here. Yeah. It's just not up to that level yet, I don't think. But
no, it's crazy, really. And Nintendo, business-wise, are probably going to make
cash in, mate. Pokemon, that's what needs to come to mobile.
Imagine that, Pokemon.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for. The one and only game would have been perfect for mobile.
What if that had quite a lot of microtransactions littered in it? Would you still be...
I'd probably be all over.
I don't think it would. Right, so you're saying about Pokemon game, James, you don't want like a Pokemon collecting game like Fallout Shelter where you have to buy cards or anything like that. What you want is a full Pokemon game with, obviously where you play Pokemon, where there's not going to be quite so many microtransactions. It'd be interesting to see which direction Nintendo going.
Yeah, I'm
games.
No, I completely agree.
Or whether it's like these little daily check-in games that a lot of other companies are doing.
Well, they could really do both, to be honest. They could do the Game Boy style game as a full game, but they could also release like a deck building type game that's a bit more microtransaction-y, which also would have its audience, maybe something that's a bit similar to Hearthstone-y and stuff like that. So there's plenty of ways they can go down, plenty of routes.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think they'll do a bit of both, purely because, as we've evidently just seen from Fallout, that's a very good way of making money. But I think a lot of people, like, say, for example, the four of us, would be far more inclined to buy a full mobile game.
Yeah, like pay 7-8 quid and then be done with it, and you get a full experience. Don't pay 99p per Mario jump. Not interested.
Yeah.
Depends how they set the mobile game up, because sounds like Fallout Shelter. It's a free-to-play game, but it doesn't, like we said, it doesn't force you to use the microtransactions. They are there, so that's passively earned 5.1 million, which is a decent amount. I hope they go down
for
the route.
A game that probably didn't cost that much to develop.
No, exactly. Yeah, that is a good point. That probably cost very little to make, and the Dimp Digital mobile app game will be coming shortly based on those sort of profits. So make sure you look out for that. But hopefully they go for a passive way of doing it. Either you pay a decent amount up front, or if it is free to play, it's not in your face and it's optional, completely optional. Not like some of the games where you
not necessary
to play or enjoy it, but. Fallout Shelter proves that you can make a good mobile game that's not forcing it down your throat and make some money out of it. So there's no real need for it. Now, we touched upon it earlier about Shenmue 3 and the content in that game. It's going to be missing some of the stretch goals, but there have been some full retail releases that have released with content that's light, to put it, to say it nicely. There's not enough stuff there really to warrant. There's either stuff missing from the last year's game, or it's just been put out there light. So I'm going to list off 3 games. No doubt they've all got different reasons for having slightly lighter content on the ground, and there's no doubt that some of them might actually add some features down the line as part of either paid DLC or free DLC, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to talk about why it's been released in this state. So the 2 most recent ones is Rory McIlroy PGA Tour 2015. So that's now got half the amount of courses missing from the previous instalment of Tiger Woods. If it was called Tiger Woods, I don't even know if it was now, 2014. But they've had time to put in a fantasy Battlefield 4 course. So I'm sure all the golfing fans that are missing Augusta are happy with that. They can fuck about with that. 3/4 of the licensed players are gone. Career mode's been trimmed down. Online modes like Skins, Battle Golf and Country Club are also gone. F1 2015, now that's also released in the last week or so. No career mode, so that's gone. That's what do you play a racing game for? Yes, to race, but often people like a career mode. Online co-op seasons has been removed, so those that wanted to do that's gone. Season challenges is gone, and championship mode is also gone. So they are features that were in previous instalments for both Rory McIlroy and F1 2015. Now Splatoon, probably going to get burnt for this, for even mentioning that there's something wrong with this game, as it seems to be the holy grail for some people. This is a multiplayer game. This released with 2 online modes and 5 maps only. That's it. It missed private matches. There's no private matchmaking and the option to form teams. So that's very light for what is essentially an online multiplayer game. Now, I know that Splatoon are planning to do a big update in August, and who knows if Rory McIlroy's Golf are going to put these licensed players in. F1 2015 have already said we're not going to add the career mode, so what you've got there is what you're going to get. What do we make of this trend that is starting to creep into some games, in that it's releasing very light on the ground? It's either left like that, or it's made up in free DLC, or in worst case scenario, paid DLC. Logan, let's start with you, because I imagine this could get up your nose the most.
A little bit, yeah. I think obviously the problem here is the yearly release dates. Now I know with Rory McIlroy they basically have tried and built that from the ground up.
Yes,
I think they used the Battlefield.
They spent 2 years making that.
Yeah.
So they had a separate team doing it, but that makes it worse in my opinion. They're 2 years.
Yeah, and I think because they haven't just been, especially for that one, they haven't just been grabbing what there was there before and then building on it. They've built it from the ground up. And I think the reason why I got Battlefield course, if I remember correctly, is because it's using the same engine as Battlefield somehow.
Okay.
So they've just stolen that. But it's just the basics that you've come to expect from gaming is when you get it, is it's got either a campaign or a career. And if it's a simulation game, you probably expect that you can simulate a career because it's quite an important part of you, especially if you're trying to immerse yourself in a game.
Yeah.
If you're doing F1, you want to be racing in your career, and you're thinking, right, if I win this one, then I'll go top. Or do you know what I mean? It's the same in any game. You need that for a simulator. You need the career mode to immerse yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not good enough for them just to go, well, you can play it. And, well, yeah, I can play it, but I can't immerse myself in it to the same degree.
Yeah.
And you get goals to yourself, didn't you? So you say, right, okay, I'll complete a season or whatever.
I'll do whatever.
Yeah, and you can't do any of that. All you can do is pick it up, do a couple of rounds, or play a couple of races, and then that's it. And it really annoys me that they're putting themselves. I mean, because they'll go, right, well, there's your game. Pay me £55 and it's half baked again. I don't understand why if it's not done, don't release it.
They should Kickstarter, shouldn't they? They should Kickstarter so they get the stretch goals in, like the career mode.
I think it's just become a basic, is that you have, especially for someone like EA who thrives on having
money,
all the official stuff and licensing and all that, to have proper courses, to have all the players, to have and so if they're not giving you that, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And it just annoys me that they charge full retail price for something that they know hasn't got everything in it.
No, I think it's to see if they can get away with it to a certain extent. Like F1 2015, for example, was up like 390% in sales from F1 2014, and F1 2014 had all the modes that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's crazy,
play it though, but then they'll get on it and go, well, I bought this last year. Where's all my stuff? But And I'm sort of it's getting to the point now where, for example, in the FIFA games, there used to be a bigger jump of certain things. You get new features, and now it's got to
women.
A point. Yeah, well, it's not a jump, is it? That's taking a step backwards. But anyway, the jump's not so big. So if that's the case, and all you're doing is doing a few tweaks, then release that by a bit of DLC.
Yeah,
but on that, we complained at the opposite end of the spectrum. We complained that they're trying to do too much with Call of Duty, for example.
Yeah,
we said they've added too much. It's got too silly bugger.
Yeah, so when I'm sort of thinking more along the simulatory stuff, so F1.
That's a war simulator.
It's not though, is it? There's no way that that's simulating a war environment. It's a first-person shooter.
Wow.
Do you think?
What do you think they do at war?
They don't jump.
It's not third person.
And you go, I just pull my RPG out, die and respawn.
Yeah, I know what Logan's saying, because it's like F1 and Rory McIlroy's goals based on real people. Yeah. Sorry, go on, Piper. I heard you trying to really scrap to get hold of that.
The real point isn't. Do you think that?
Well, of course, have we?
A little bit. So do you think?
Obviously, he's not used to how these go.
Yeah.
Do you think that because these, especially like the EA games are franchises, they've got hard deadline days and they've simply
absolutely
Assassin's Creed, so they think this is buggy. There's no point in
get it out there.
Take it out and then at least release a game that's working and people won't be because it was probably a lot more damning to have a load more bugs in it than having a load of content missing.
Yeah, no, I think that's Rory McIlroy Golf. They wanted it out before the Open had started this weekend. Quite clearly, they think they're going to sell the most whilst that's going on. F1 2015, they wanted that out as early in the season as possible because you don't want to bring it out in November when the season's winding down. So those two, the sports games, they're missing content, not good. Splatoon's not a sports game. That is a online multiplayer game. You wouldn't have thought any urgent deadline for them to meet in terms of getting it out. So when that was released, I can't understand why they would just have just 2 online game modes and 5 maps. That's very. I'm not the biggest online multiplayer player, so I don't know if that's enough. But that's why I was going to come to you, Hall, and say I know you play a lot of online multiplayer competitively. This is not a shooter, but it's in that same realm. Is that enough to keep a player like that going?
The thing is about all 3 games of the 3 that you've listed, the one that I'd be most disappointed as if I owned all 3 would be Formula 1. I think the lack of a career mode is
just not having it.
Just because you kind of want that. The EA Rory McIlroy Golf, I wonder how much of that is to do with losing the Tiger Woods name and how much he has an affiliation with certain places. So people are. I'm not sure. I'm speculating.
Right, yeah,
I see what you're saying, but I don't.
There's a little bit between him because there are certain courses that he has an affiliation with. There are certain things that he has an affiliation with, and it was EA's choice to drop him as the name of the game. But anyway, and with Splatoon, really, that's Nintendo's first effort at like a multiplayer only type game.
Yeah.
I certainly can't think of any others. They've started to bring in a bit of online multiplayer for like Mario Kart, for example.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a good one.
But really, it's their first go at a purely online feature. And I think they probably wanted to release the game, get it up and running and see how it was going, see how their servers coped up with it. And I mean, to be in fairness to them, they have released they're releasing a new bit of DLC pretty much every week. It's all free. They're dishing out free guns, extra maps, extra game modes. They are trying to release more, and I wonder how much of that game for them was more of an experiment, and they probably didn't expect it to be quite as popular as it is.
No, but is that necessarily good? Because if that had come out and it had bombed, or say, people might have bombed, but people still probably enjoy it. It's still going to be a crowd that enjoyed it, and they went, that's not enough. We're not going to bother supporting it. That's surely not good for the people that have invested.
No, of course it's not. But at the end of the day, it still comes back to money, doesn't it? I mean, you're not going to put. There's no point in putting money into like a dead horse, is there? If the Shenmue hadn't
reached a dead horse, yes.
Shenmue doesn't get to 5 million, they don't make the game. The people that have put in the initial 4.9 million have been shat on. Like, it's just the way that it goes. You know, you buy a game. If other people buy the game, then the company is probably going to release DLC for it. You know, if no one buys the game, you know, I mean, we've all probably played games where we thought, God, I love that. Why do other people hate it, or why don't more people own it? going to happen. Some games are going to get left behind, but you know, like I say, it has been popular, fortunately, and I think they'll keep supporting it. But I wonder how long it'll be before you see Splatoon 2, to be completely honest.
Oh, really? Well, maybe. Yeah. I mean,
I just think that they'll look at creating one that's bigger and got more involved, because I'm sure that unless they already had all this DLC content already pre-built, etc., which I'm sure they had some of it, but I can't imagine them having a team just specifically working on more and more stuff for that, when they'd probably just release they'd probably prefer to release a whole new game and start to cash in on the success of the first one all over again.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is Nintendo aren't typical for doing that. It's one good thing about them. They don't tend to.
No.
Like, we've not seen Mario Kart 9, which was a huge success. That's not going to become. They supported that for what? Nearly a year. So the last thing I wanted to mention on this particular content piece was that Hitman is due to release in December, and it looks like they're going down the same path of releasing a game. What they've said basically is that, we're going to support the game with free DLC throughout 2016, which suggests to me is that we're going to release 2 missions and then that's it, and you have to wait for the DLC to come out. And that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want to pay, and they're charging full price, I must add. That's what I don't want to happen. I don't want games to suddenly get the idea of, let's just put, again, this word, the bare bones out there, see how it does. If it's good, we'll support it. If it's not, we can always just support it a little bit and then go, right, knock that on the head and get away with it. I think it's a dangerous trend that's slowly creeping in. And if I, for one, will not buy Hitman based on what they've said, it does not sound like it's going to be a full game release. Maybe in a year's time or a year later, when it's got everything on there and it's £20, I'll consider picking it up. But at release, I just think it's poor to be doing that. I don't agree with it, and I think people need to start voting with their wallets, but they're obviously not, because F1 2015 is going 400% increase in sales.
Thanks very much.
What are you idiots doing?
Increase for 50% less. This is good.
Well, yeah, it's good as, yeah. I mean, it has got a mode to play through a season in there, but it's not a career mode where you work your way through the teams and there's no progression. Like, you play as Lewis Hamilton for a season. It's like, thanks very much. I'm still shit, even with Lewis Hamilton. Unbelievable. Right, let's move on to the main event. Guild Wars 2. This is the first time I've played an MMO. Mr. Piper, I assume this is the first time you've played an MMO as well.
Yep.
Hall and Logan, I think you've dabbled with them previously?
Yeah, I've dabbled with quite a bit of RuneScape. Used to play a couple of years ago, and a little bit of World of Warcraft.
Hall?
Yeah, WoW and Guild Wars 1.
And did you play a lot of WoW or Guild Wars 1, or was it kind of like
quite a bit of both.
Okay, so let's start with you. In a nutshell, how does Guild Wars 2 stack up to, say, WoW? Not necessarily Guild Wars 1, WoW, because I know, obviously, that has a subscription model in place, and we were talking the other night whilst I was on the game, and you're saying it's not as good, but you wouldn't expect it to be because you're not paying monthly for it.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it that WoW is still top dog. Blizzard do what they do very, very well. It's just the game just feels bigger and a bit more complete. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm playing Guild Wars on a PC that is not designed to play games.
Yeah.
It's FPS than anyone else does. But yeah, I mean, WoW's just it just feels much bigger, much more complete. I just think that there's certain things with it that are done slightly better. Like, you can get extra bits and pieces, you can get mounts and stuff.
Yeah.
Just a lot more to it. But then again, as I mentioned, you would expect that, as it is a subscription-based game, and you will end up forking out an absolute fortune for it every single month. Whereas, I mean, I've been impressed with Guild Wars 2. I know we haven't really done much with it, because at the minute we're all still kind of at that early stage where we just kind of want to ponder around and do a bit of exploring and meet up and just be Berks together. So it's but I'm enjoying it. It's certainly got a lot of positives to have said about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Piper, you've not played an MMO before, so let's go to the other end of the spectrum. I wasn't expecting you to even bother getting this, if I'm honest. It was kind of like me and Logan got it, and I thought it'd probably be us two. We might play 10 hours and then drop it, but you sniffed around it, went out and got it, and pretty much made everyone else start playing it. What's your initial... How many hours have you put into this, first of all?
I think I'm coming up to 50 at the moment in the space of 8 days.
That's ridiculous.
It's but Hall's not too far off, so...
No.
We've had a lot of time off work.
Yeah.
So we've had enough time sort of...
Implying that there will be time at work at the moment.
So, yeah, it's I never sort of really got into it. I always thought, like WoW and all like that. I was thought, wow, it's not really my cup of tea. But it's one of those games that's a real life sucker, and I don't really get into those games that you spend ages in.
Wow.
However, I got onto this, and what I like about it is I don't have to go around doing exactly as what they want me to do. I don't have to go around killing loads of things. I can go around collecting things. I can go around cleaning, I can go around crafting, I can go around just doing all these types of things that can consistently keep leveling up my character. So there's always a goal, and there's always something to do, and there's like daily challenges. There's like as he said, Hall said, we paid about 15 quid for the game, 10 to 15 quid for the game. And I've already got nearly 50 hours into it, and nowhere near halfway through the game, or halfway through completing. I've done about 30% of the map. And we've only really sniffed at the world versus world and player versus player sort of options on it. So we've got so much more exploring to do on it. I just wonder how, by the time I've had enough, how many hours would I have put into it? Yeah,
that is the worry, that it could just descend into a constant play. Could you see yourself playing this, dabbling in a year's time, just maybe once a week, doing a couple of hours or an hour or two? Or do you think it's all or nothing? Like, you either play it bang on, that's all you play, 3-4 hours a night, or it's not worth doing?
I don't know.
Can you dabble?
You can dabble. I think it's worth.
I
think when you can dabble when you get to a higher sort of level. Maybe if you're sort of first starting out a character, you're still around level 10.
Yeah.
You could get put off quite easily because you're still so low ranked. But like now I'm up to about level 42.
Christ.
Fucking hell, James.
You can often just. I could just turn it on for an hour or two and just happily play it, do a couple of missions, do the daily quests, and then sort of log off. I'm sort of quite looking forward to, as I said, to getting to know a bit of the world versus world a bit more and the PvP stuff.
Yeah, you love daily quests though, don't you?
It's all about daily quest on free loot.
Yeah, you love a daily quest. Mr. Logan, talk to me.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's not blown me away. I don't feel like Destiny. I would wake up like on a Saturday morning and text Hall at like 7:30 going Destiny early doors.
When Hall was not getting up for that.
Sometimes he was up relatively early.
He's already up playing it.
Yeah, but
he hadn't gone to sleep for the night before.
Bed, mate. Yeah.
Like, and that I genuinely I looked forward to playing that at a weekend. I haven't really got that with this. I enjoy playing it, but I haven't got that bug that sort of James has got at the moment with it. It's okay.
Just on that thought, I see quite a lot of similarities between Destiny and Guild Wars in the fact that the quests themselves, you kind of just switch off and do them. Like you're doing them, it's the same. The text might be different, saying, "Oh, you're helping this farm do this," but essentially you're doing the same things over and over. You're doing it as a group, though. You're helping it. Do you think it's because the combat isn't as visceral as, say, Destiny, where it's first-person shooter and you're doing those quests and shooting, and you have to be a bit more engaged with it? Do you think that's the main difference is kicking it? Because in terms of the world size, Destiny's not anywhere near the scale of Guild Wars. So it's more about the gameplay and how you're actually performing these tasks.
At the moment, I don't feel like I've got anything to aim for.
Right.
So I don't feel like I haven't
got any light armour to get.
Yeah, I don't feel like I go, right, I need to find some more armour, right, all right, I need to go and find some of this, because everything that I'm in at the moment is dragging me down levels anyway. Does that make sense? So I'll go to an area, I'm already over higher than what I'm in. So there's nothing that's overly challenging me.
Right, I see.
To go and sort of get a new
is that the way you've tackled the game? You've sort of stayed around the low level regions. If you started going into maybe the higher level regions, you would have a reason to up your armor to get tackling and stuff like that.
Possibly, but like everything I've done, when I've been on, you're like, oh, we're over here. I've gone over there, just wandered through, no problems really. I don't know. I haven't really got that incentive. There's no weapon I want. I'm quite happy with the sword that I pick up. Nothing seems to make a massive difference. It's okay. The combat obviously isn't. I'm not too. I want to be able to click on something and it auto attacks. Like there's certain little things that are bugging me that I don't like. I don't like having to keep. I want to be able to click on something. He goes over to that and just starts attacking it. I don't want to just.
That is what happens, by the way.
It doesn't, because I click on it and it just sort of hovers.
It does.
And then he doesn't go over to it though. So I want to be able to click on it and it go over.
Well, not if it's out of range, then you won't be able to.
It's not what I've clicked on it and it just carries on. It doesn't turn around. It just keeps on firing what's in front, even though I've highlighted the other thing. That bothers me, and I don't really understand the level up system in it at the moment. It's
How many hours you played? Do you know roughly?
Probably 15 to 20, maybe.
Jesus.
Maybe that's a bit ambitious, 15 to 20, but probably about 15, I think.
Yeah. Can you see yourself continuing to do this, or do you think you're going to get to a stage and go, I can't click on it properly, I'm binning it?
No, I think if you... Like, it's not saying, like, James has gone away and he'll quite happily go away and do some stuff. I probably won't do a lot of that. I'll probably do my story mode, maybe. I'll continue with that.
They have been poor so far. I've done Hall's one the other day, and that is the one thing I was like, what is this?
But it's just like...
I like a good story, and it's junk.
It's just nothing of them, is there?
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I skipped all the cutscenes, which probably didn't help, but...
They're not overly
rabbits.
informative.
No.
But it's you sort of, it's again, go there, kill some stuff, pick up something, bring it here. Like it's and I'm not having a moan at that,
Destiny,
but it's not as engaging as Destiny.
Wow.
Destiny is, to be fair, Destiny is a first-person shooter as well, so I can't really compare it to something like this. Although Destiny has MMO elements to it, it's not solely MMO in its design. So
can you imagine if Destiny was as big as Guild Wars?
Well, that is the absolute dream, isn't it?
Well, not for me, but probably for you too.
Yeah, like if Destiny had more of an exploratory element and was huge, so you could explore like a whole open world parts of planets, then yeah.
No Man's Sky mixed with Destiny. That's what you want.
Yeah, that is a good idea. That would be No Man's Sky. That would be
anyway. I think for what I've paid for Guild Wars 2 and what I will probably get out of it, yeah, it's been a good investment. I can't really slate it too much for something that I've paid 15 quid for. So
I think we paid a tenner, Logan.
Oh, was it? I don't know. I just went,
unless you gave me 15 quid.
It was a while ago, wasn't it, that you bought it? And it's just been sitting there, and it's only when you came round the other day you went, right, there you go.
Yeah, gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it to a certain extent, but it's one of those things like the other day I was on with you, Piper, and you was like, I'm going for a bit, you're going to stay on? And I was like, no, not at all. Like, I will not. I can't sit there and play that on my own. It's just, I don't know why. It's just, that doesn't really interest me. Like, it's very similar to how I was playing Destiny. I'd only play if someone else was on, and I wouldn't really pay attention to what I was doing. I was more just following orders and then just trying to annoy the other people in the party, or just, I like in Guild Wars, I can just sleep. I can just do /sleep and lay down, make everyone cackle. But
that's what I look for in a game.
Yeah,
the ability to sleep.
The ability to sleep within a game is brilliant. Makes me feel rested in real life. But no, I think it's a great game. And the fact that for someone that hasn't played an MMO before, and myself, I think doing a Guild Wars 2 is definitely the way to do it, because I don't want to be paying £9 a month for something that I might not have enjoyed. And in this case, I've paid a tenner, I have enjoyed it, and it's job done. There's no subscription fee to worry about, which I think there's a lot to be said for if you've not played one before. If you dive in with...
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Do you feel like, just going back to World of Warcraft, Mr. Hall, do you feel like they need to be charging that money a month? Do you think it warrants that subscription fee? I know you've not played it as heavily as what a real proper fan probably would say. Like, in your opinion,
I think it's more a case of they know they can get it from enough people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whereas we keep saying, you know, like, oh, good guys, Nintendo are not all about the money. Blizzard are all about the money. Blizzard fucking love money. They absolutely will milk you for every penny that they fucking can. So, like, even Hearthstone, which, as we've said, I mean, it was a free game. You don't have to buy. I've bought loads of packs. Yeah. I've easily spent 40 quid on the game, like, without a shadow.
And how much are the new characters they've put on Hearthstone?
Yeah, like the 3 new characters that they've released, which are nothing. It's a new skin, $7.99 each.
Yeah. So if you want all 3, that's
24 quid. Yeah. It's absolutely outrageous. But they know they can do it, and people will pay it. The amount of people that I play against on there who have got those new characters, and I just think they know their audience. They absolutely know their audience. They make so much money, but they do the right thing as well, in that people that play it professionally, they put on big tournaments. Like they do BlizzCon, they do everything else. You know, they have massive like events where you can play against each other for high money, for big payouts. Like it's $100,000 for the winner of BlizzCon.
Jesus.
Hearthstone tournament. You know, you can see, so they go, oh, $100,000 up for grabs. Well, I better fucking buy all the packs. I better buy all the all the things. Like
Pays
they
it
know
off,
what they're
innit?
doing.
Pays
So I don't
itself
think when you ask, do they need to put that subscription fee on? Probably not.
No.
Are they ever going to get rid of it? Absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen the internet video of the kid that sticks the remote up his arse when his mum takes away his World of Warcraft subscription. That is how serious it is to people that play it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I like it's. From an outsider's point of view, I think that's mental, but there's millions of people doing it, so I must be the mental one. It's if you're a fan of something, you're probably going to do what you can to support it, and you're gonna be happy to put that money in. That's all that really you can ask for. If people are happy to put their money into it and continue doing it, then why should I sit here and go, you're a stupid idiot?
Well,
You look at it like a football season ticket. Like you'd spend potentially like £300 a year to go and see, say, Southend United.
Well, no one will be doing that. I don't know who's doing that.
They've spent them 3,000 already, but it's
fucking hell. Is it 300 quid?
It shows you that people, if they want to support something, they will pay into it.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like if you got fans of things, and you can't really question their alliance towards particular things. Just going to finish up on one particular title, which there's been a video go up this week on the Dimp Digital YouTube channel. As usual, make sure you subscribe to that. But Rocket League. Now, Logan, you've not played this, so apologies for bringing this up. But Hall, you had a little go on this around Mr. Piper's house the other day. What did you make of this?
I really liked it. I thought that you two looked like a right pair of morons when you were both playing.
Mate.
I watched your Let's Play, and it's so hard. It's so awkward, like, because you just so easily go underneath the ball. But the thing is, it's not awkward and therefore irritating. It's awkward and it's like, oh shit, I really want to go back and have another bash at it. Like it's addictive. It's a very good game, and for free, I mean, it's brilliant. It's a really good free game for anyone that's got a PlayStation. I mean, as someone that doesn't have it and has only played it for a short while, you've got to go out and get it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
If you've got a PlayStation Plus, it goes without saying that you should get that. Even when that ends, it'll be £15, give or take. Could you see it, Warren? That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, it's worth £15. That's what, 3 pints in London if you go to the wrong establishment. Piper, you're loving it. We was late for the podcast because we was playing it earlier with Biff, and we played it a little bit. Did you play last night as well? Yeah, we did. So it's great, isn't it? It's just simple fun, and it's well made. It's got what you want in it. It's got multiplayer. There's a season mode there if you want to play against bots, but the multiplayer is where it's at. And when you've got 3 or 4 of you on one team, it is great fun.
Yeah, you can just like we had 15 minutes before this podcast was starting, and
we took half hour.
We spent half an hour on it playing about 4 games, but that shows you how many games you can get in such a short period of time as well. It's just really good, and as I said, it's free for PlayStation, and Sony have done an amazing job. Like, it was going to come out across all consoles, and they basically nurtured the developers in this and said, look, you want to get out to a big audience, we can put it out to a big audience for free and get everyone really liking the game. And they obviously paid them a load of money for it, and they've just nurtured these developers really well, and that's what PlayStation are doing really well at the moment. They're trying to get lots of exclusives, and I think it will go across to Xbox at some point, but it would be for the £15.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's on PC now, so you can buy it on the PC platform for £15, and it's cross-play between PS4 and PC, so helpful if one of your mates has got a PC and you've got a PS4, you can actually play together. And play via that. Yeah, no, it is good. I don't know how the party system works though, because obviously when we play through PlayStation, Mr. Piper sends me an invite via the PlayStation 4 network, so I'm not sure how you would.
Maybe there's no party.
Maybe they just mean cross-platform, as in that you can play people on PlayStation, but you're not actually in the same parties.
Yeah, that's a bit of a sting if that's the case, but we'll have a look at that and see if I can figure out what it is. But Rocket League's a great game. Mr. Logan, if this comes to Xbox One, you've got to have a look at it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I was scrolling through their Twitter feed to frantically see if they'd mentioned anything about it the other day, and they unfortunately haven't yet. And I chucked them an ambitious tweet to nothing back. But just a quick point, just to say, when I was scrolling through their Twitter feed, they're very interactive with their audience. It looks like they're really, and they sort of keep mentioning people saying, "Oh, it'd be good if you had this. It'd be good if you had that." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. We're sort of looking at it, and they look like they're releasing regular updates and fixes for it as well." So that's encouraging.
No, Nothing bad to say about Rocket League. Piper,
only-
final word.
The only thing was about, I'd say, it's been that popular that sometimes the servers are so busy you can't even play online though. So it's a small company that developed it. So I think they have to be interactive with the audience to let them know what's going on. If when like we went to play it for the first time, me and Abs, we couldn't actually get on and play because everyone was playing it and there was no server space.
Yeah, that was just after an update, wasn't it? That had gone in, and I think it was 8 o'clock in the
Evening.
8 o'clock in the evening, something like that. And yeah, it wasn't there. It was a bit of a shame. If this doesn't pull more than 2.5 million that Pool Nation got in terms of downloads, I'll be sick to my stomach.
Oh, I think they've already got past 2 million.
Have
I
they?
was reading that somewhere. Yeah.
Sweet, because that is a disgrace. Pool Nation running right with that sort of download rate.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Well, that wasn't there for 2 months, as mentioned, but I think I'll do it. That'll be done for now. Let's wrap this thing up, guys. If you want to get in contact with us, you can tweet us at Dimp Digital. You can also like our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Dimp Digital, or you can email us using our email address, dimpdigitalmedia@gmail.com. Remember to check out the Dimp Digital YouTube channel. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter Let's Play has finished. You can now also enjoy Mr. Piper's 7 Days to Die debacle, where he's really struggling to come to terms with that game, and it's fun.
Found a house.
It's fun to watch him die. I think you're on day 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
And you got put down in that day.
Get put down every day.
Yeah, you get put down every day, but there is some fantastic video content on there, so make sure you subscribe and you don't miss out. That's it for now. Game over. It's goodbye from Piper.
Ta-ta.
It's goodbye from Logan.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Hall. Nope, it's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time,
Ta-ra.
and ta-da. What the fuck?
Am I not there?
No.
Awkward silence.
Am I not here?
Here you are, I can hear you now,
yeah.
but I said goodbye. You just
Really
didn't know.
strung him up.
It's because mine obviously gets behind and then speeds everyone up to
Right.
catch back up. So, as far as I'm concerned, there was a bit of a gap after we finished talking about Rocket League, and then
Yeah.
you've gone through and you've gone right. Just bye from Piper, bye from Logan, bye from Hall. I've gone bye, and then that's it. It's
Yeah.
like it sounded absolutely fine at my end. I mean, when you say you want Pokemon, you don't want a prototype game, do you? You want where you wander around and you catch Pokemon, etc.
Yeah, you cut out there all.
Figured I must have done.
How do
8 tracks,
you- yeah,
7 characters,
yeah.
a different skin for Yoshi, and 200cc. So a whole
Yeah.
new game mode.
Yeah, so
Which is good. You got. I mean, that's a decent amount, and it was
bloody hell.
the tracks and the characters weren't free.
No, but the new game mode was, wasn't it, for 200cc? So maybe
What's
that.
going on there?
Yeah, that was poor. That was.
Why have you just disappeared off and gone? Bloody hell!
Because you went silent. I was like,
Did I?
Yeah.
My internet's
I was like,
all
that's
over the
really
place. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm having to use 3G.
oh yeah,
Oh,
fucking hell.